You're not Lyle Barnett.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I couldn't grow the beard fast enough.
Oh, I should have said, oh my God, Lyle, you look so weird with no beard. You know that nobody would know what he looks like without it.
That's valid. Right. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm a letdown, I know.
It's all right. Everybody that is watching, Lyle is on his way. So we've had some issues today. Not gonna lie. I was working on a bunch of stuff, and I had all these blog items to go on the website, and I had all of this stuff to come up and go on the screen for this, and all my internet went down at the house.
Oh, it's not important.
Like while transferring files, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, so no idea what didn't or any of that is happening. No clue. So right now, we are running on the hotspot from my phone running through the computer.
Wow.
It's all good. What could possibly go wrong?
It looks great. We would have never known.
I know. If I can live stream a drag race next door to Tucson Dragway, or where you're at right now in Wild Horse Pass, then,
you'll be just fine. Yeah.
So to everybody that is joining us, if you are new to the show, thank you so much. If you are old to the show, then welcome to we got new logos. We got all kinds of new stuff.
And it looks amazing. I love it. It looks fantastic.
It's so cool. So this is our new Beards, Burnouts, and Beer logo. And then obviously without the Lyle and I, there's a couple of different versions of it. The really exciting thing too is that we have shirts that are going to be available for pre-order right now. This is the first announcement of this. So I'm going to show everybody these as we go through the event or through the show today. I'll show everybody these, but I gotta pull it up while, like I said, all the things are going. But trust me, before the end of the show, we'll have a way for you guys to email in order to get your shirt. You're just gonna email beards, burnouts, and beer at gmail.com with your sizes, how many you want, address, etc. We'll send you an email then that says, this is how you pay us, and this is how much everything is going to cost. The shirts are awesome. $22 to $25, depending on your size. So if you're Chad size, $25. If you're littler than Chad, $22. So not a big deal.
And hoodies.
We not yet. This is our first run deal. Pre-order shirts. This is going to be the first run shirt. In fact, I'm working. What you're going to see is the shirt. I am actually going to make one change to it that will make this a one-time only shirt. This is going to be first order only. So there will be something on the shirt when it's done, when you get it, that will say that you're OG and you bought a first run shirt. So everybody that is watching, just stay tuned for that. So now Matt DeYoung in the house. For those of you that don't know, I feel like everybody should know Matt. Matt is the now Division 7 director for NHRA, formerly the general manager at Tucson Raceway Park. And Matt and I have known each other for a long time, years and years and years. We have worked together not only at a variety of racetracks, including his own, but all kinds of other events. He's been on the staff working with multiple LS Fest events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, bracket races, all kinds of stuff everywhere. So it's been fun. So Matt, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
I lost my voice a couple of days ago, so I'm getting there. So
yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So this is your new gig for 2023 is being the divisional director.
Yep.
You are in Arizona this weekend at Wild Horse Pass.
Yep.
To check out the new division or the junior race, then the divisional, then the national event, right?
Yes. So we have the junior divisional first this weekend. Then the 23rd through the 26th, we have the division race for big cars. And then March is the national event here in Phoenix.
Very nice. That is awesome.
So this weekend we'll have like 120 junior kids running, junior dragsters, junior comp only. It's fun. It's a party. It's a blast. It's a lot of babysitting. Feels like there's a lot of kids. You're like, are you one of ours or I don't know? But Chad, you'd fit in great here. We take care of you just fine.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'd fit in great. I see how that is. I do.
We have Nerf fights, Nerf gun wars. We have all that kind of stuff. Just like in the tower in Vegas, we do the same stuff. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So tell us, I know there's a bunch of new junior dragsters. I mean, while we're talking NHRA, before Lyle gets on, we might as well talk about all these things. So you have a bunch of new things coming for NHRA this year, juniors, streetcar racing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's hit on some of those.
Yeah. So Junior Street is a huge program right now. It's been growing at most tracks already, but some more tracks are kind of kicking in and stuff. And actually last weekend at Las Vegas for the first time, they licensed 5 junior street racers. And that's huge. Like, when we were in Tucson, I think our field was 8 to 10 cars. I think they have 6 to 8 cars here too. So it's a competition that we're going to run at ET finals now. So junior street and high school will be a category combined together and we'll run, and it's great. It's teaching younger kids driving real cars with their parents in them next to them. So not only are you teaching them how to drive a car, you're teaching them how to bracket race, you're teaching them the tree and everything. It's a really cool program that we as NHRA are trying to build, and Division 7, we truly believe in, and we want to build it.
Well, the other thing that's interesting about this, and so let me explain. My experience with Junior Street has been through Rocky Mountain Race Week, right, where we have a Junior Street category. So if your parent is, running in the event, then you can run in Junior Street also. And so, and I say that you could just run on, your parent could just bring you, but either way, most of the parents are doing both, right? The cool part about it though is it's more than everybody thinks. So I know that as a 50-year-old man, it is incredibly annoying to communicate with young people nowadays, right? They are incapable of talking. Yes. So one of the other things that I think is a huge benefit to this is the communication skill, right? So, your mom or your dad is riding shotgun with you, telling you what to do. You need to shut your damn mouth and listen and do what they're telling you to do. And I think it can open up this cool dialogue and a level of communication that, probably wasn't there before. And it's getting kids to do stuff with their parents, which is always cool. I think there's just nothing but benefit in this to me.
Yeah, and it's cool, the communication side, even with track staff, right? They're in the staging lanes, they're in the water box, they're in the starting line. They've got a question. The kid comes upstairs to the tower and asks the question, not the parents.
Yeah.
So, so they're interacting with not only their parents and learning that side of it, but learning to talk to random humans and how to do it respectfully. And it's cool.
It is awesome. And for those of you that are not aware, Junior Street is for 13-year-old kids on up. They don't have a valid driver's license yet. And they can drive a regular street car as quick as 9:0 in the 8th mile, okay, with a parent or guardian riding shotgun. And it's funny because some of the kids running in this, when they get running, and doing these bracket races, you'd think maybe having somebody else to look over your shoulder on the other, side is an advantage. I'm not sure it really is. It makes it a tough deal. So
my favorite part is watching a full-size 2022 Suburban, and they're bumping in. I mean, the whole truck is rocking. You're just like, yeah, they're good. They got this. They're fine.
Dude.
Yep.
Oh, I was going to say Lyle's here, but there he is.
Oh.
What is up, Buttercup?
What's up, Lyle?
Just beadlocking the world, man.
Just working.
Of course. Beadlocking the world is right. Oh my God.
I'm gonna constantly get phone calls. Hang on, let me just turn that off.
Sure.
Let me see. Phone Wi-Fi calling off. There we go.
Lyle is literally in MacFab beadlocking wheels right now while we're doing the show.
I have a sick week on the computer, but I need to turn it down.
Oh, nice.
But we're T-minus 1 week from leaving for Georgia.
Oh man.
I'll tell you how many beadlocks are on my list. We have 31 sets of beadlocks to do while we're there.
Wow.
I have about 14 sets of those cut, so halfway there. And we're running out of anodized rings, so that's good. I've got just random assortments of rings ready to be cut. We've got every machine in the shop going. And y'all are just going to have to beadlock rings with me because I literally don't even have time to sit down. So that's what I'm doing.
That's funny.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's funny. I told Jay Wiles. I called Jay Wiles today to ask about a customer's motor that we built when I was there. And I said, there's all the jokes that go around about how Lyle should not be trusted with power tools, right?
I know.
Welders that I turn into plasma cutters, all these things, right? And here my dad is turning me loose with, I don't know what those things are worth, but I don't know, several $100,000 worth of CNC machines in here, and they just cut me loose. Like, yeah, man, go hit the buttons on those sons of bitches. Yeah, it'll be good.
What could go wrong? What could
possibly go wrong, man? A lot. I can tell you a lot.
When all I know is that I'm waiting for the machine that has smoke coming out of it, and you put up the post on Facebook and says I done Barnetted it.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll go ahead and admit to an almost Barnetted situation today. So, like I said, when I'm running one of these at one time, that's one thing. When I've got 3 of them going at one time, that's another. And I'm on the other end of the shop, and actually that machine right there, that guy, which is the nicer one of the 3 Haas's that we have, it's humming along, and I'd walk to the back, and all of a sudden I hear this, yeah, and I was like, oh, man, that's not good. So I come running in the shop, and this thing is still, they don't give a shit. They'll plow through just whatever. So I open the doors of the machine right here, and that drill is laying right in the middle of here, and that spindle is just going to work. And it's done. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this battery.
Oh.
Just mowed the side of the case right off of that stuff.
We need to auction that off. We need to auction that off.
Yes, that's a charity item right there. Holy crap.
But I pulled it out of the machine and gave it all, and it still worked. And I just shut the doors and let her rip.
What was it supposed to be machining when it instead was machining the drill you left in there?
Yeah, well, it was machining the ring at the same time. It just got a little lithium battery in there, a little extra charge.
That's fine. That's fine. This is why we can't have nice things.
It's exactly why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody's gonna. Yeah.
So here's the funny part, Lyle. So we were just talking, Matt. Matt is now the Division 7 director at NHRA. So we were just sitting here talking about their junior street program, the junior nationals that are coming up. Or junior divisional and everything. So it's funny though, because everybody that is at home will want to know this, that Nasty Nash D, Lyle's little one, is now standing.
Yep.
He's crawling.
Yep.
Does the 8th mile in just about 5.5 seconds. It is all over. So they're going to have to change Junior Street to be like 8 or 9 year olds for Lyle's kid, because it's going to be bad.
Either that, or you just turn a blind eye when you see Nasty Nash D on the side of like my grandpa's old 80 Cavalier, you know.
Yeah, that's completely stock, I'm sure.
Don't let anyone else on the racetrack clear the racetrack, please. Nasty Nash D and the beans. Yep, clear the racetrack.
Okay.
Yeah. He I don't think that Matt's writing it down. I don't think that Melissa realized when they decided on a name just how great it was going to be for his racing career.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh well. Awesome. Well, okay, so before we lose our traction on NHRA stuff. Okay, so juniors we've talked about. You have a divisional race coming up there, and then the national event there, which is supposed to really actually be the last one ever at that racetrack, right?
Yep. So we have the Lucas Oil race, 23rd through 26th. It's a double with alcohol cars and stuff too. And then excuse me, in March is the last national event. Yep.
So let me ask you, Matt, because you've been with NHRA, with NHRA working with them and at racetracks for years. Yeah. What do you think about the Winter Nationals not being the first race of the season?
So it's 100% a tradition, right? It's always been a tradition. At the end of the day, it's what works better for the entire series. And so if something works better for the series and for the racers and the teams, then something needs to be considered. And that's why I think it's not a bad thing for sure. There's the traditionalist racer who's like, oh, it's always this weekend. It has to be this weekend. Sometimes things have to change, right?
Yeah.
You can stay status quo and things never change. We never progress as a movement. So sometimes you got to make some changes, and sometimes you go back too. If it didn't work, you can always go back. We always learn lessons if something doesn't work, right?
And I got to tell you, my initial reaction, I was so pissed because that's not the way it's supposed to be. But when you look at, because it also changed Phoenix, right? So, So when you look at it now, it's starting in Gainesville, which is the same drive from Indy where so many teams, teams are based. Yep. So same drive, and still driving across the country. But once you drive across the country to Pomona and you do Phoenix and all that, then the drive is less going back, because you're not just doing this one giant back and forth for no reason. So it does cut a few thousand miles of travel. And ease that burden a little bit for some of these race teams. Yeah,
exactly. And with everything going up, prices, everything is skyrocketed, costs of working, everything is insane. So as much as you can do to help on that side of it is important for us.
Right. Yep. I understand that one completely.
Hey, one thing that he said that's kind of struck a bell with me is you can always go back. Well, let me tell you what you can't go back from. When you send a CNC machine through a lithium battery on a DeWalt drill, you can't go back from that. You cannot come back from.
But the real question is, did you learn your lesson?
Well, clearly not. No, because the son of a bitch is still laying in there. So I guess the answer to that question is no. No, I did not learn anything from that.
Now I just want that drill. Just send it to me. Okay, that's it. You're done. You can't do that anymore.
You need to put it on like a bungee cord so that when you quit using it, it pulls it out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or these things are smart enough to just relay some kind of message. Hey, get the drill out, dumbass. Or something like that.
We're gonna make you placards to put on the door now. Okay. Yeah. You have your drill ?
Yes. Normally you have like door alarms on those things so that if the doors are open, then you cannot start the machine. But in typical me fashion, we go. CNC machine, old settings 51 and over, and you turn that door alarm off. Well, then those things will run wide open, leave the doors open or not. Which is funny. I say that because after about the third time I left here with a wet ass because I didn't shut the doors all the way, and then I turn around and start messing with the next ring, and the door's right behind me, and I don't realize that I've left the door cracked about an inch until the coolant from the machine is dripping down my butt crack. You know, that if should we use the door alarm function on this, then that wouldn't happen either. But have I learned my lesson there? Absolutely not.
And now I have this thought in my mind of coolant and butt cracks, and just
it's
we're
over.
so early into this, and that's the conversation it just turned. So
see, but that's how this works. That's how this works right here.
Yeah.
I miss.
God. Well, I have to say that the number of subjects that we can cover in a show is, I mean, it's unreal, right?
Never been questioned.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing. We somebody gave M gave us money. Matt Jacobs, dude, thank you very much. Sending your money in today. Appreciate that. Lots of congratulations to Matt for being the new Division 7 director. Excellent choice. You. Well, we'll see. I mean, we think it will be, but it's early still. So,
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the support.
I was gonna say, Matt, if they'll let me run a CNC machine, they should let you be the division director. So I think you'll be fine.
I don't think anybody lets you run that though. You just run it, right?
True.
Yeah, I do not program it. I just run it.
Well, that's just okay. That's a start.
Okay, so Wickman says, and here I thought Lyle only swept the floors there.
No, man. You send a set of wheels here to get beat like more than likely I've cut the rings.
Oh boy.
Barnes says if you're hiring, he doesn't need any money. The entertainment value will cover it. So
I mean, that's true.
Chris Costanza says that there's a new race team name, Coolant and Butt Cracks, right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's got to be the new logo.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Coolant and Butt Cracks. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Well, so national event's going to be there. Like we talked about Pomona being different.
Yep.
Let's talk, because we want to get into Sick Week and some of that in a minute. So let's talk streetcar drag racing right now and what NHRA is doing and has been doing the last couple of years to encourage people to bring their streetcars to the racetrack.
Yep. So it's actually really cool. The Street Legal program, they started that, I think, 2 years ago now. There's a gunmetal black Wally, which is really cool. Speed for All Wally and stuff, which is really awesome. It looks really cool and modern. But the street legal side of it is incredible, right? You can come out in your Demon, in your Hellcat, whatever, make 2 passes on a Friday night drags and open test and tune. You don't have to make them singles. They can be grudge races with your friends, and you can get an NHRA license. There's no longer the mentality of your car's too fast, you have to get a license. It's, dude, you get to get licensed. How cool is this? You get an NHRA drag racing license with your Demon, with your Hellcat, with your whatever. And it's really cool. I think like 3 or 4 weekends ago, I spent the weekend out in Phoenix at Radford Racing Schools, and they do a drag racing program here. And that's what they do. We licensed 22 students in street legal, in Demons and Hellcats in 2 days. And it's everything from learning how to just start the car, how to strap yourself in, how to do a burnout, how to go down the track. It's incredible. So that was always fun. I think we did a story on NHRA.com about that too. So
what category?
Well, I think that's one of the problems.
Say that again, Lyle.
What category? What license do they get when they get that particular license that you're talking about?
So it's a 6 or a 7 street legal.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's the mindset that when the Demon came out, right, the Demon was too fast for the track. It wasn't capable of whatever. And that mindset shift changed in the last 5 years of, we want these cars to be out here. We don't want to tell you can't run, right? We want to show you can run at a safe track. You can run here with us. And and that was huge. And now there's 9-second, there's 10-second street legal stickers that you get if you get licensed with that. And it's really a cool concept. And it's really been taken off.
Is that a 6 run? Is that a 6 run? Two licenses, and you can have a pair. What can you? Is that a transferable license to something faster?
No, so it'd be you would own another license addition to what you already have.
Because like just for instance, when I licensed in Randy Meyer's alcohol car, I already held a pro modified quarter mile license, so I was able to what do you call it, crossover. I was able to cross over and make 2 less. I was able to make it. It was a 4-run license instead of a 6. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you could cross those over.
I mean,
or not, or, okay.
I guess if you're at a local racetrack, you're at a member track, like you're at Tucson Dragway, and they're like, hey, this guy races with us every weekend. We know he's a street legal. He wants to just bump up to an ET license. They have the discretion to waive a couple passes and stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're going from a street legal car to a race car, we want to make sure that you know how to operate your race car.
Oh, for sure.
So there could be that kind of mindset there. But yeah, you need to get your street legal too. We got to get you in one.
Sure.
We got to do it. That'd be a lot of fun. Well, yeah. Okay. What do you want to drive?
So along those lines, though, you talk about how quick the new cars are. They're also considerably safer than anything ever built, right? Every year they get safer. And so that's why NHRA, several years ago now, they made it to where and I'm going to make up the number because I can't remember. It was like 04 and newer, 08 and newer, could run like up to a 10 something. Yep. And with, as long as it was completely unmodified, as far as all safety equipment went.
Yep.
And so now they've changed that again, made it that there's another break that you can go as quick as 9.0 without a cage. And that not only is to cover, the quite frankly, the Tesla Plaid, that runs 928 with a fat guy in it. Yep. And then the, the demons and everything else that anybody puts a nitrous kit or anything else on. I mean, the truth of the matter is every late model high performance car, you can pick up a full second with 125 shot and not change anything else on the car. And they're stupid fast. So, it's a big deal.
It's huge. It's awesome. And it's cool to see the mindset of the people that are wanting to get them and they continue to want to get them.
Absolutely. Dave Comstock is asking, so no cage required in a 9-second Demon or Hellcat? No.
OEM. So if you're not making changes to the vehicle, OEM.
Right. It has to be unmodified. Okay.
Chad, can you pull up the NHRA.com/street legal? I think that's got it's a 1-page thing. It's really.
Yep, I will.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is that, here we go. If you go to NHRA.com/street legal, you can look up all of the regulations.
Yep.
Let's see here. Yeah, you'll get a street legal decal. So when you run a 13, you get a 13. When you run a 12, you get a 12, an 11, a 10, etc. And that way, and you can put those on your car, right? To see.
Yep. And if you're an 8th mile track, there's 8th mile equivalent stickers too.
Yeah, 9, 8, 7, and 6 for the 8th mile tracks. If you break into the 9s in the quarter or the 5s in the 8th mile, then you if you break into the 9s in the quarter or the 5s in the 8th mile, and you submit to NHRA a license application, you will receive an exclusive decal that shows that you have an NHRA street legal competition license, which is pretty cool. The thing about it is, so it says, it allows 2014 and newer OEM model year production cars to run as quick as 9.0 and 150 miles an hour in the quarter, 565 in the 8th. In addition, racers with 2008 to 2013 models will still be permitted to run as quick as 10.0 and 135 miles an hour. It requires unaltered OEM installed anti-lock brakes, OEM airbag functions, OEM stock frame rail and unibody construction, including OEM floors and firewall, as well as all other OEM safety-related systems must be functioning as per manufacturer specifications. Tires used may be other than OEM, but they must be DOT approved. Any convertible is still required to run Summit Series roll bar and roll cage requirements. And an NHRA level 6 license is required for drivers running quicker than 10.0 or faster than 135. A level 7 license is available to racers whose elapsed times are above 10.0 or 6:40 in the 8th mile. So there you go.
Yeah.
So if you are, if you are, a streetcar guy and you want to go, you can take your car as long as all of the safety stuff is still there. It's okay.
Yep. And also, let's not open this Pandora's box real quick, but just a sidebar into it. We have EV street legal as well. And that's a very cool class that's being built. Like, yes, everybody has their own opinions on EV. So be it. That's okay. But some EV drivers still want to race. Like, they want to race. They want to get out there. They want to either race themselves or race other stuff. And PT finals this year, EV racers are racing for a division championship. I mean, Summit has posted huge, and they want to see it grow. And there's tracks, Tucson and Phoenix and California, Sonoma and Irwindale. They're all getting these Teslas, anything like that. And it is absolutely incredible to see that side of it to grow. So we know change is inevitable, right? We want to see change. We want to see it progress. And just because we might not like that side of the change doesn't mean somebody else doesn't like it.
Correct.
So,
yeah. And so a couple of questions are popping up here. One of them is from Aaron at Texas Precision Performance. At 150, you need a parachute. Yes. So once you have gone faster than 150, because that's the rule. So it's 9.0 and up to 150 miles an hour. So if you go quicker than 9.0 and or faster than 150, then you are going to be required to have a parachute.
Yep.
Again, all factory safety equipment and body structure must be in place. So you can't put a carbon nose on the car. You can't put seats and belts in it. You can't change the steering wheel. You can't do any of that stuff because all of the factory safety stuff, we're talking everything, crumple zones, airbags, everything has got to still be in there in order to save you from yourself.
Right. And the reason that the rules change and progress over time is we continue to grow and build as an industry. Our cars are getting safer, the airbag systems, everything's getting safer. So that's why we're able to progress like that with these things. And it's not what it used to be. So that's why we don't want to see that stuff not work.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. And here's the one thing too, though, that I think is a big deal. And I started to mention this earlier. So Lyle and I this isn't a secret. So Lyle raced for a jillion years with no NHRA license. And when we did the 10K drag shootout the first time with Beer Money, we were told that he had to have an NHRA license and he didn't have one. And luckily he had been driving, doing testing the week before in the DART and other things. And we were there and we were able to get him his license from runs that had happened and were happening. Right. Yeah. But getting an NHRA license has never been easier. Okay. It used to be that you had to have a physical no matter what license you were getting. That is not the case anymore. Okay. Right. Yep. So now you don't need to have a physical to get a license. Basically 850 and slower doesn't require a physical. And the paperwork is easy. I mean, literally you get it off. If you print it, great. If you don't, go to the racetrack. Every NHRA racetrack has the forms there or the ability to print them. And literally all you're doing is giving them some time slips. They're going to go, yes, you ran that number that, fits for these licensed runs. Yes, cool, you're done. And then they either give it back to you and you mail it to NHRA or they will take it to NHRA for you, depending on the racetrack. And you're done. And then they give you a number. I mean, it's not a big deal. And instead of treating it like you're being penalized and you have to get a license, dude, what's cooler than having an NHRA license? When I got my pro stock license, I told everybody that would listen. I mean, dude.
And what's really cool is really eye-opening. The other day I was in the office. Obviously, the office is in California. I'm not there all the time, but we get the licenses and they come across our desk to approve that they are, they made their runs and that they did all this after the track sign off and the other driver sign off. And I was sitting there signing them and looking at them all. And it's very humbling. Like, you sit there and think, wow, this is cool. Like, we are licensing people to drag race. Like, this is the final step. Like, it's super childish and weird, but the mindset of that's really cool was refreshing the other day for me, at least in my mind.
Dude.
When that happened, because we get to sign off on so many, it's cool.
Oh yeah. And conversely, so those that watch the show know that, Lyle got licensed in injected nitro car, Randy Myers, top alcohol dragster that's an injected nitro car. And when he did, he had Randy sign his license, right? Because you have to have drivers with those licenses sign and that they witnessed you do it.
Yeah.
Well, the other signature that he got to get was Tony Stewart. And,
that's cool.
We're friends with Tony and we hang out with them and we have a great time with them. And dude, Tony was so excited that somebody wanted his, his signature for a license anyway, but also because it was Lyle and we, like I said, we hang out. So it just was all around. And Lyle, you were giddy like a little kid to have Tony sign it.
Yeah.
I'm the first license that ever off on,
That's so
and
cool.
Pretty much he's kind of like, reminds me a lot of somebody like a Kyle Larson or a Travis Pastrana. Just, it doesn't matter. Dirt, pavement, obviously long and skinny. The dude can just drive anything, and he was. I handed him my license. He was like, man, this is cool. And I'm like, cool for you. Like, Tony Stewart signed my license, right?
That's awesome. When we were in Tucson a few years ago, same thing, but I got to sign Johnny West's nitro altered license. And it's like, he came up and goes, hey, will you sign this license for me? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, is this for you? He goes, yeah. I'm like, I mean, yeah, of course I will, but can we have a picture too? Like, as a child, you're growing up, you're like, this is so cool. And it's just so same mindset. You're like, dude, this is so cool. It's an honor to get to do that, whether it's, a junior dragster for the first time getting licensed, or it's a pro driver getting a relicensed or a crossover license. It's really cool and really humbling to get to be on that side of it.
Dude, when I got my pro stock license, it was Roy Hill who signed it, obviously, because I was at school. And then also Larry, Larry, his name just went out of my head.
Are you getting old?
Shit. You know who I'm talking about, Lyle? Still driving pro stock to this day.
Morgan?
Larry, the old man.
Started on how old Chad is.
Shut up. Shut up.
I don't know. He can't remember this guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, and Larry Morgan, thank you. So Larry,
I can't wait to call Larry Morgan when the show.
You shut your damn mouth, Lyle Barnett.
I am. We're off the phone.
Call him right now.
So Morgan signs my license, and so did Lori Johns. And so, because her husband and her owned the racetrack at Houston at the time. So yeah, it was awesome. I mean, those guys, the bad deal I hate is that my copy of my license lost. I have no idea where it is anymore. Oh, no clue. My original. So I don't have their signature. I mean, it may be somewhere in a box somewhere, but
Well, but you sent that in.
Yes. But I had a copy of it. Yeah.
You should text me. You should text me the information. Maybe I can.
I bet it's Larry Morgan where his license was.
Shut your damn mouth.
He just came over just to say that and walk back.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Now he's right back in the machine. I hope your ass gets wet.
Too far.
Yeah, too far.
Okay.
Yeah. See, now he's going to smart mouth again. Yeah.
He's trying to come up with it. But yes, the licensing is amazing. So that's huge. I love it.
Yes, William Herzog. Yes, two drivers that are licensed at the same level have to sign your license. So
yes, but also on the street legal side, it can be two track officials. So your starter and your track manager. It doesn't have to be two drivers.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
You can't go make the passes and then drive home and then hop on an airplane and fly to some other state and then have whoever sign off on your license. Like they have to be in attendance.
It's a witness.
Right?
It's a witness. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And speaking of Tony Stewart, because people are bringing this up.
Yeah.
So
today.
Yeah. So Tony announced today that he is going to run with McPhillips Racing, which is the team he's been racing with and who he did all his licensing with and all of that. So he's going to run the full schedule with McPhillips Racing this year with Mobil 1 on the car again. He made his debut, in Vegas last year and went to the finals, which was awesome. And he was so stoked. It was unbelievable. But he is do what?
I said, and he lost a close one in the final.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by a foul.
Yeah.
Yep, by an inch. It was 1 inch.
Yep. That's right, because the rest of the night, even at the poker table late that night, we told him how just 1 more inch sure does go a long way, doesn't it?
I have to say, the funniest thing ever was he said he stood there in the pit and was like, "Man, it's a story of my life." And Leah from the trailer goes, "You ain't kidding, honey."
Oh no.
Dude, the two of them are so hilarious together. It defies description. They are so much fun to be around because they give each other rations of crap like you wouldn't believe. It's great. But yes, so Tony is running the car. So that's going to be awesome. Super excited for him. It's going to be really, really cool to see him out there running. He has so much fun. He really does. And he's enjoying it. I mean, if you haven't watched his interviews or seen any of the interviews that he's done in the last year talking about NHRA versus NASCAR, I'm not trying to get into a pissing contest between the two, but it certainly is cool to see that his experience has been so positive, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you know, so he goes to the finals in the A fuel car on Sunday night. Monday, they were there testing, you know, Leah's fuel dragster while I was licensing with Randy Meyer, and Leah had experienced an engine failure that resulted in her actually getting a concussion. So Tony tested the car the next day, and I mean, and that dude didn't need a warm-up lap. Like, he showed up the next morning, put his suit on, climbed in a top fuel dragster, and I think they went 73 or something, 320.
Wow.
320 something, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, man, felt good, shook a little here, you know." And I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
Yeah,
you're a madman.
It was cool too because he specifically said to us after he made his first hit in the fuel car on Monday, he came up to me and he said, "I said, how was it?" And he goes, "Oh my God, it is so much more comfortable to go from the A fuel car and get right into it." Because literally 3 days before we'd had the conversation, and he said, I am not able to keep up with this car. I feel behind every moment of this thing. And he goes, I just don't have enough laps to feel it. Well, again, like Lyle says, he got in it the next morning and ran the thing. And then it was funny too, because we're in the staging lanes and the crew told him, if it goes out there and spins the tires or whatever, it's your car, you own it. So you decide what you want to do. But if you pedal it, which at some point in life, you're going to have to pedal one of these. But if you pedal it, you got to know that there's a 50-50 chance it's going to blow up. So, you know, that's up to you because you own the parts. So we're all here working for you, you know. And he did. He went out there and pedaled it actually on one run. And where it shook and he pedaled it and it didn't blow up. It put a hole out, but he knew it. And he clicked it a little early. It was awesome. It was super fun to watch him. He was genuinely so stoked. And that made it cool to be around. You know,
yeah, that's huge for our sport.
In those things, and I think it applies in pro modified. You know, there's some stuff slower than that. Mark Ingersoll, who is Erica Ender's crew chief, says it best: you either can do it or you cannot do it. You know, and like Tony is just one of those dudes that can do it. You know, like Chad says it all the time, and now I say it. There are people that drive race cars, and there are race car drivers. You know, and like that dude's a race car driver. You know. And he's just got it. There are some really good race car drivers out there that drive other types of race cars that could not get one of our race cars and be successful. It's a different deal. You're either born with it or you're not, you know. And I think one of the misconceptions when it comes to driving these things that run 250 plus 300 miles an hour is it's not the fact that the car itself is accelerating so fast and it's going so fast. It's what your mind is able to keep up with as that thing is accelerating down the racetrack, because the end of the racetrack is coming at you so fast that even myself, I run a pro mod 0.4 of a second past the finish line every single time I run. I don't give a shit how aware I am of where I'm at, who's beside me. If I'm by myself, if I'm on a time run and they tell me to shut it off at the stripe, I'm running that thing 2.5 to 4 tenths past the finish line every single time. And like in those things, that matters. Like a second past the finish line, of course, in NHRA, you guys have the RS system.
Yep.
Cuts the car off. but like a second past the finish line is the difference in saving parts and catastrophic failure.
Right. Yep.
Like that's what's hard to grasp, hard to adapt to, and teach yourself is where you're at on the racetrack. What they'll tell you, Leah Pruitt will tell you, Steve Torrance would tell you the same thing, that when you make a correction in those cars, you're making a correction that happened a long time ago, right? Like those cars are making moves and you're correcting way after that car has made that move, but it is just happening so fast, and that's
right.
the hardest thing to adapt to. And even in the pro mods, like very fine movements, I've got several in-car videos out there and you watch them from the starting line and it looks like the thing travels, a couple feet outside of the groove, and you look inside the car and the steering wheel just barely moves, and that's just the kind of moves you have to make in those things. And it's really hard to understand unless you do it.
Well, yeah, and, we've talked about it before, like you said, that, I always say there's a difference between guys that drive race cars and race car drivers, because guys that drive race cars are typically just riding in them. Okay. Yep. And, and that's not the same. And, nowhere that I've ever raced is it more apparent, the idea of fine movement and paying attention to the car than at Bonneville, actually. Even though it's so long, you're at over 200 miles an hour, literally for 4 miles, right? Yeah. And so, and the thing is, if you start turning in when the car is sideways, it's way too late, and you should have let it alone, because the air is going to hit the side of the car and it's going to straighten it out. And so you're then hunting the whole time. And I'm telling you, it's just an exaggerated version of what happens, on the drag strip. And so, you just gotta be able to keep up. And the human brain is insane how quick it is, right? And the thing I always tell people is, if you get in a car accident, okay, for example, it feels like slow motion, right? And when you tell people about it, you're telling them, 100 things that only happened in 4 seconds, right? Because your brain is working way faster. It's like your brain is in HD, and what we're doing and saying and seeing normally is just standard depth, right? So that's the same way with racing a car. You have to be able to harness the fact that your brain is going to work that quick, right? You honestly, the truth of the matter is, most guys that can't race a car, they can't race a car because they won't let their body and their brain do what it can do. Well, they're in their own head. You know what I mean?
When it's pretty easy to drive one of those things when everything goes right, but I think what really makes the difference, and, Pete talks to me about it all the time. He's like, man, do you remember doing this? And I will have pedaled, and it happens in beer money. I will have pedaled it, while having the thing turned to lock and all this crazy shit running no prep stuff, and it's what you can do subconsciously that just naturally happens. Like when something happens on the racetrack, your natural ability just to not even think about it and make the move is what really matters. When those things get out of shape, or they shake the tire, or maybe it's just kind of sashaying a little bit because you're on a slick with a real narrow wheel or whatever, whatever's causing the issue. It's what you can do subconsciously that really matters, and that's whether you got it or you don't.
Oh yeah, I agree. And it's it goes to any level of car, right? It doesn't matter whether it's an 8.0 car, a 9.0 car, a 10.0 car, or it's a 4-second car, right? You still got to be on your game, Okay, so I want to talk about one other thing before we get into talking about Sick Week to wrap up the show. So first off, I want to show the new T-shirts. I am going to put up the info for ordering shirts, and I'm going to show you guys the T-shirts here. So we have got, this is going to be for pre-order, okay? And so everybody out there, if you want one of these shirts, you can get one pre-order only, okay? So this first round of shirts, you're going to send an email with your size, the quantity that you want, and your address, and we will then respond with so that you can pay, okay, with a total including your shipping. Remember that if you buy more than one shirt and it's all going to the same location, you're going to save on shipping, right? It's cheaper to ship 3 shirts together than it is to ship 3 shirts individually. The shirts are $20 a piece for regular sizes, on up to $25 for triple X and 4X and all that. So this is going to be a one time only shirt. So while we will sell this design later, that will seem like it's the same, there is going to be something special on this first one that says that it's a first edition, right? That you are an OG. And so I'm not going to fill you in on that. That's going to be something that's added to the shirt later. And you guys will know that you got the first, edition. So we're going to do orders for 2 weeks. So at the end of the show, the next show, which is in 2 weeks, then we will announce our final, cutoff the next day or whatever. And then shirts will go to get printed. And as soon as we get them back, we'll ship them to you guys. So again, $20 to $25 each, depending on the size. And email us your size, the quantity of each size, and your address to Beards, Burnouts, and Beer at gmail.com. And it's Beards, Burnout, and Beer, not beers. Beards, Burnouts, and Beer at gmail.com.
And if you're on the fence about whether you are a driver of a race car or a race car driver, this is one way to move you in the right direction. If you are a person that drives a race car and you're really hoping and yearning to be a race car driver, buy one of these and you are well on your way.
Absolutely. I mean, because the amount of talent on this shirt is unreal. I mean, right. Yeah. Absolutely unreal. I mean, we can drive, we can talk, we can get chicks. We got all of it, dude.
Well,
really.
This one's 3 for 1. If you are a person that drinks beer and you want to be a beer drinker, then buy one of these shirts. Like you can't just say you're a beer drinker if you just think that. Like you got to buy this. Go from a person that drinks beer to a beer drinker. If you are a person that does burnouts and you want to be a burnout doer, freaking buy this shirt, man. It's not that hard.
100%. And it's Valentine's Day, so buy one for your significant other. I mean, right? I mean, nothing says love like Lyle and I's face on the back of a t-shirt.
Well, and your significant other is buy one for you, buy 2.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget the dog. Like the dog needs one too.
Dude.
And so buy
grandma needs one.
Grandma needs one for sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sure.
Everybody needs one.
Yep. You also need probably one to put in a shadow and hang above your mantle.
Yeah.
Right? The picture that you took at a wedding in '96. So buy one, put it in the shadow, put it on the mantle.
I think you have to randomly select a few too that you both are going to autograph.
There you go. We'll do that. Yeah. There actually is, there's going to be a surprise in with every t-shirt actually too. Something else you're getting free. And this week, fresh ass crack coolant right there, dude.
Battery.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, help us all. I am also going to put up a design for hats this week. And so once the hat design goes up too, if you want to add that to your order, that won't be a problem. Because again, this is pre-order. So we do not have shirts yet. We are going to order what everybody orders and then ship those to you. So as long as your hat order comes in before the end of the shirt orders, then you'll get that as well. So, and Lyle just gave me an idea for another thing to do on a hat. So it'll be awesome.
Great.
Yes.
What could go wrong? Hey, I have to run, but I have one request. I need to take a picture of all of us together. So could you put the awesome logo back up and can we take a selfie?
Yes. There you go.
On 3, everybody smile. 1, 2. Perfect. Hey, Thank you for letting me hang out with you guys. I appreciate it.
No problem, Matt DeYoung. Thank you for joining us. We
Thank you,
so
guys.
appreciate it. We will see you later. Oh, dude. So to everybody that's joining us and like they're looking at the logos and the shirt and everything. So Lyle, like I got the logo done and showed it to Lyle a few days ago, and he was like, "Oh, holy hell, that's awesome!" And so everybody's been thrilled. Oh, dude, special guest has arrived. Hold on. Lonnie Grimm in the house. What are you doing? You're on mute. You're on mute, Lonnie. There you go.
Sorry about that. Got tied up on a couple conference calls and working through those. So it's been 48, about, I don't know, 72 hours of craziness with sick week in Florida. And we finished up day 2, Bradenton, closed the lanes. We were closed at 3:37. So 30 minutes behind schedule, but that beat the hell out of 4 hours behind schedule yesterday. Nice.
Well, hey, I got to say, that's how we're going to close the show out, is to talk about sick week. And I got to tell you, so next week, everybody tune in. Next week, I have another Drag and Drive 101 episode that we're doing because apparently at least 50 of the people on sick week have zero clue and have not paid any attention to the Drag and Drive 101 shows with Chad Reynolds prior to this. I cannot get over the number of people that are out for stupid stuff. Like, I mean, if you decide you're going to go on sick week or Rocky Mountain Race Week or Drag Week or any of these events, and you are going to run some incredibly oddball combination, right? I don't care if it's naturally aspirated. I don't care if it's turbocharged, blown, nitrous, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you are running a combo that is odd, meaning you can't find parts for it everywhere, then you need to bring spares with you, you idiot. I mean, dude, the number of people who don't have things with them that are, I mean, why would you not bring head gaskets? I mean, oh my God, like, I don't understand. Why would you not bring a pair of head gaskets with you? And, oh, by the way, also, if you didn't bring head gaskets with you for the sake of argument, let's say, oh shit, I don't have good head gaskets today, and so I'm out of luck today. Dude, you can put any head gasket on it. Go to O'Reilly, get a head gasket, drive down the road, dude, to where the FedEx man will have delivered you the fancy good ones you need. Like, I don't understand it. People spend all this time and all this money, and then they get to the goal line and they don't have the balls or the brains to make it over into the end zone. I don't understand. Drives me insane watching.
The Chad Reynolds Drag and Drive 101, yes, you are 100% correct. There's 65-70% of this year's sick week that and other drag and drive events that really need to pay attention, because drag and drive events are something that you really have to go do at least once to even understand what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
And usually once won't get it. You won't pay enough attention. So it is disheartening to see how simple some of the things, the breakage has been, and how difficult they find themselves in trying to repair it.
But I will say there's also been some gnarly carnage. I don't know if Lyle saw this, but Chad Fegley, blew the entire bottom of the transmission part of the transaxle out of his Corvette. I mean, in grand fashion, running 7-somethings, like insane in a stick shift car. Dude, he's a badass. Like, we've made fun of him for a lot of things over the years because he's easy target. But he's a really good dude, and the guy can make power and go fast. It was nuts. He didn't even feel bad because he went quicker than the car had ever been before, and it blew parts out of the bottom of it. It was badass.
So this morning we started out at 200. We put cars down the racetrack at 200 foot below sea level, and there is almost right now Florida weather yesterday and today. Tomorrow it starts to change as we go to South Georgia. But the last 2 days, like 33, 36 grains of water in Florida, way high 30 barometers. And nobody has a tune for it. They never see that air at home, and then you come here and it's air that you normally don't see in Florida. Florida air usually will fool you. You see a lot of water, you see a lot of humidity. You even look at vapor pressure and go, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But then the barometer is really high, and so there's a lot of oxygen in that water. And there'll be some people that says that makes no sense, but between Lyle and yourself, it is what it is in Florida. Sometimes the tune-up in Florida does not work anywhere else, and
Right.
Sometimes it's really out of the scope of what the normal tune would be. So,
Right.
Hey, Lonnie, speaking of people blowing head gaskets, did anybody blow their head gasket at you this week yet?
I had one.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
that was.
thing.
I have one
If
that
I
was
was there,
little
I'd have done reamed you a new one 2 or 3 times. Told you how stupid you were. In fact,
because otherwise you would think we're mad at you if we don't yell at you.
There was obviously some frustrated customers yesterday just because of all the downtime and breakage, and we just couldn't stop the bleeding yesterday. And I said, as we return back to Orlando, I'm stopping at Walmart buying a little $5, $20, probably $30 now, but a little plastic first aid kit. And for every time that we break something, I'm gonna get a Band-Aid out, stick it on my arm. But maybe that'll stop it. But today we really had a great day. We had a couple of significant oil downs, training, diff, couple things, but nothing that was detrimental. Obviously, Dave Schroeder's incident yesterday, he's okay. And that says a lot for all the protective gear that not only does he have to wear, but some extra gear and extra safety stuff that he has in place in that car. And he was able to walk away from an incident that I don't want to see. I don't want to see one more time, let alone 10 more times, because I'm not for sure that the outcome is the same. But he walked away from that unscathed, needed a little Advil last night, maybe a cocktail, but he was in good shape. Again, today went really good. We ran through all the sessions. We grouped C and D, Charlie and Delta, together today to see if that worked a little better. But nonetheless, this year, instead of running one prep lane like Sick Week is known for last year, it is a radial session or a slick tire session, and so we're putting cars down in pairs. That's been well received and worked really well. Still, the drag race 101, the main thing I get my butt chewed out about is that I've only made one run and that guy's made 3 runs, and this is so stupid. Well, if you'll slow down and quit talking, I can explain it where you would understand it. And what's happening is that guy was at the front of the lanes or waiting on the lanes to open while you were in the McDonald's drive-thru. And then you get to the racetrack. He's already went down, came back, and then he's beside you in the lanes. He makes his next lap and comes right back again before the lanes close for that session. And, yep, he got 3.
Which is right. Like, it's not a matter of how many you get per session, or not of how many you allow. It's how many times you can get in the lane before you shut them.
Correct.
Right. And the one thing that we do a good job with is you don't get to sneak in the lanes. You can't find the loophole. There's those, and those we catch. But at the same token, the guys that get frustrated is wonder why I only made 1 run and that guy's made 3 or 4 and blah, blah, blah. But it's really drag race way. It's drag and drive 101, and they really need to pay attention.
They do. And it's funny you say that because, the drag and drive events are run one of 2 ways. There is either a certain amount of time that the lane is open for you to come make runs. And if you can make 2 during that time, great. Or it is made so that you are going to everybody gets the exact same number of runs because there is a run sticker on your car that the guy in the staging lanes is marking. And different events do it different ways. And there isn't that one is better than the other. They're just different. whichever event you're at, you just need to know which way they're doing that. And they're real clear about that in the driver's meeting. And then you need to be on the ball. And if your car requires 2.5 hours to turn around, you are going to get one run per session. That is it.
That's it. And we all of us, whether it be Matthew Frost, whether it be myself, whether it be everybody that's involved in drag and drive events, we all strive to how do we make it better? How is it better? How is it better next year than it was this year? And so all the time, that's like this year, changing it to run session, slick run session, radial run session. We just thought that was an improvement. And so far that's panned out to be an improvement. And for all the drag and drives, we always try something a little bit different just to try to make it better for the customer. And so it's always a moving target, but you have those days sometimes that it doesn't matter what you do. It's just, it is what it is. And so, but yeah, it's, I'm excited. I'm super excited that we're talking about Gator Nationals, that's coming around. World Series of Pro Mod events going to be off the chain. We got pro stock testing starting to line up and make appointments at Bradenton. We got pro stock motorcycle testing that's lined up and going to go to Orlando. It's obviously some pro stock motorcycle testing has already taken place at Gainesville. The new Hayabusa has gone down. The new Vance and Hines all billet block, which could be any brand, but right now Suzuki. That thing is looks like a very durable piece. Now you can remove the transmission out of the Suzuki like you used to do the Vance, the S&S or the V twin. And so when they go to any elevation or track is a little different from qualifying to Sunshine Race Day, they don't have to have a whole other engine built with a different tranny set in it. They can take that training cluster out. So there's a lot of improvements coming on. We saw Gage Herrera jump on, which he has definitely motorcycle experience, but he jumped on his first laps on a pro stock bike, Angel's old bike. Then he rode the new bike, and that kid looked like a veteran, man. He is like him and Joey Gladstone right now are like we'll call them rookies, but and I don't mean that in a bad way. But
they're just the young guys.
Those two dudes are, man. They have guns blazing. They are ready.
Hell yeah.
Joey Gladstone and that guy are to pro stock motorcycle what Lonnie Grimm is to the senior citizens discount at Hardee's.
Exactly. It's exactly what I was thinking. Wow. That's exactly what I was thinking.
So, Lonnie, I'm always interested to know. Well, one, how many cars did you tech this week?
Nope. So that was John Sears, Rick Dodge, Eddie Maloney, and Vinny Ludacenda were the tech team for Sick Week.
And how many cars do you think they teched?
332 exactly.
And do you know, and if you can share, this may be a HIPAA violation, but how many cars did not pass tech for Sick Week?
So there was a number of customers that had to go visit. Summit is on site here with their big truck and trailer. There was a number of vendors on site that they could get belts, some roll bar padding, odds and ends stuff they needed to be able to get the car up to the level that they wanted to compete. Chassis certs were available. I did everything I could, worked with a number of people on licensed crossovers or getting their license. It was really a red carpet situation to where nobody had to go home. A few people didn't quite get to the ET level that they were hoping for due to multiple infractions that they couldn't fix. But still, we had good options for everybody, and very few that left the tech line frustrated.
That's good.
And obviously you don't want to share names and embarrass anybody, but off the top of your head, the most eye-opening tech infraction?
It's a good one.
This group was pretty good this year. The oldest set of seat belts in a quicker than 999 car which requires a current level seat belt. The oldest set of seat belts was date punch 1985.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, I want to meet this guy.
Wow.
Like, that guy's like, hey, man, I'm here to race. And you know what? If I crash, I'm okay dying. Yep.
Now for your neighbor that has a 64 Impala, I'd rather the 85 crotch belt be in that car than I would the 1964 OEM belt that's in there. But
Right.
yeah, so we there was a handful of helmets that again, back to Drag and Drive 101. The guys really, for a large percentage of the guys, they really go through tech one time a year, and
Right.
and so it's but like I said, we tried to put everything in place where we could at least offer the option to be able to get your car to the level you wanted for it to be, and for the most part we accomplished that.
So maybe, I don't know if my grandpa's on here watching or not, but he tells this story all the time. He was running Super Chevy at Rockingham, or maybe Atlanta. I think Rockingham, way back in the day. Like, well, I say way back in the day, in the mid to late 80s. And he had an old MG. It had like a 4-cylinder Iron Duke or something in it. You know, I mean, just slow as Methuselah, right? And he was running this bracket, or this index class or a bracket class of some sort. And when he had went through tech, he had used an old set of belts that my dad had for his. My dad had a, dude, I don't know, a 9-second, probably 69 Camaro then, and they had put new belts in it. And my grandpa was like, God dang, you know, these belts here got to be better than the lap belts that are in it, you know. So they bolt these things in, and my grandpa goes to tech, and they're like, man, your belts are out of date. And he's like, well, surely these are better than the lap belts. And they're like, well, you can run the lap belts, but we're not going to let you run this 5-point harness.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, you know, whatever. So he takes the belts out, and he's just got his lap belt on, and he said he pulled up for, I don't know, first or second round or something like that, and he looks over, and it's this tube chassis Nova, and they were dialed just some ridiculous separation in time, right? You know, and my grandpa leaves the start line, you know, he takes off, and he's looking in the mirror. He gets to the 8th mile, car hasn't moved. Looks in the mirror again, car hasn't moved. And he said, I feel like I was 1,000 foot. And all of a sudden he sees that thing turn up, you know, and that thing passed him at the finish line running double his speed. Double. And my grandpa said, I did nothing. Just one time, took the early turnoff, went straight back to the trailer, and I never went back out on the racetrack again, because there's nothing safe about a Nova up my ass at 160 miles an hour when I'm in an MG with a lap belt. And I said, you're right.
You're right.
Exactly. And that is one of the challenges with the seatbelt rules, is that I understand why it's there, but also a 3-year-old, you know, good, you know, set of belts is still better than a 50-year-old, you know.
Like Lonnie just said, like, you feel a lot better about even a set of belts that are now, you know, 33 years old. 2 years old.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
A lot better about a 32-year-old pair of, you know, out-of-date 5-point harnesses than the 65 lap belt that came in that Impala, right? You know,
we actually do spell that out in the rule book. If you're not at a level that requires a 5-6 point harness in certification, it plainly does say in the NHRA rule book now that that an out-of-date set of belts is legal.
But that's a new addition. When was that added?
Probably, I'd have to look back. It's probably just a few years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which is great. I'm saying that because it took forever for that to be the case, but that's great now, you know, because we'd all rather be wearing good belts, even if we're in a 12-second car or something, you know?
Right. Because the racer in us would be like, okay, hold on a second. I'll be back to tech. And you go back to the trailer and you put that 64 Impala seatbelt back in, and you drive right back up there, and he goes, hey, you're good to go. I mean, like, that makes no sense at all.
None. All right. Well, boys, I wanted to talk about No Prep Kings rules and some other stuff this time, but we're out of time. I have an anniversary dinner to go to for my lovely parents, who are 53 years this year married.
That's
which
awesome.
is
So I made mine easy for my in-laws. So I got married. So it's my 4th anniversary just a week ago.
Yeah.
My in-laws, it was their 50th, and we went and got married without them knowing, and did not tell them, and showed up about 10 minutes late to their 50th anniversary party, and sat down at the table across from them. And her mom was very quick to notice rings on fingers. And she's like, "Did y'all go do something today?" And was like, we did. And she was like, and she was pissed. She was like, "Why didn't we know?" And we didn't want to steal their thunder. It was their 50th, and they just and so obviously they just celebrated 54 last week, and that's awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. That's great.
That's awesome. My grandparents are working on their 60th, but I love your wife to death, and I think she's one of the most fabulous people on earth. But I question her sanity and her decision making when she decided to make her last name Grimm. I'm going to be honest with you.
We've asked her. I remember one time me and Lyle were sitting across from her, and we're like, blink twice if you're okay.
Right.
Blink once if you're being held against your will, And there was a blinky moment where we were like, I don't know what it is. Do we have to call the police or not?
Blink.
But
Tracy, please blink 3 times if you sleep in a dog crate at home.
She's amazing to put up with my life and how it moves around, and she's a big planner and needs the whole calendar. And I'm like, what am I doing tomorrow? I'm just fine with it.
That's the same situation I'm in. And Melissa, literally, I wonder whether I should, like, I gave her about 10 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. I gave her a little LCP 380 for Christmas, a pink one, because I figure you're a good looking woman. The world's crazy. You should carry a gun. And now that I'm kind of in the same position you are, I don't even know what I'm going to do when we hang up off this call. And my wife already knows what I'm doing July the 2nd. Like, the fact that I don't care to plan like that and she does, and it drives her nuts that I don't, I wonder whether I should Indian give myself that pistol back.
Dude, no, it's true, because people always are like, where are you going this weekend? I don't know where I'm going. I just know whether I am or am not going, right? So it's, I don't know, I got an event in 2 weeks. Where are you going? I don't know, and I mean, literally, like, it doesn't, I make airplane reservations. They're in there. I don't care. I don't need to know when the plane takes off until the day before it takes off. Like, none of that matters. None of it matters at all. It doesn't matter when you're coming home either until like sometime before you're coming home, so that you can tell somebody that's supposed to pick you up. And if you don't, then there's Uber. It doesn't matter. It's all fine.
Exactly.
Like, know. Yeah.
The only person that really cares whether you come home or not is the dog anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Well, sorry. Very sorry I was late to the call. Obviously, I would love to join much earlier. Hopefully, you guys had a great time with Matt DeYoung. I can't wait to go back and look at the podcast.
We did.
Beards and Beer is just, it is awesome. Every now and then I'll just watch, and obviously you guys notice who's watching, and so Lau, he'll comment or something. Tracy loves to put comments on there just to stir the pot.
Of course. That's why we like her.
But nonetheless, it's same token. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the invitation. Sorry I was late, but would love to do this again when we can all circle back.
Yep. But before we get off though, Chad, I did make an announcement last week. I had a bit of a in limbo type deal as far as what I was driving at the World Series of Pro Mod. But I did announce last week that I will drive Chip King's Mach 1 Mustang for the World Series. It is a Joe Hornick powered Chuck Ford supercharged Mach 1 Mustang that both Terry Coyle and Justin Carmack, crew chief. It was the former Terry Leggett car. It's been 340s and in Pro Extreme trim. We will obviously be in legal Pro Boost or, Bradenton style Pro Mod trim. So you won't see any 340s, but it is a 350 capable player, consistently runs in the bottom 60s, and something that we feel like we can go down there and win with. I've never raced for Chip, but I'm definitely excited to mix it up down there with him. And it's comforting knowing that you can go down there and you've got a hot rod that can win that race. So we're pumped up about it.
Dude, I love that car because it is not my favorite. Like, the body style is not my jam, but the fact that thing leaves the starting line with the wheels up in the air every single time, dude, that thing is a beast. Man, it goes by the 330 with the front end in the air this high every run. Damon Steinke got killer photos of that thing that we ran on bang shift after the U.S. streets. That car is pissed off. Roots blown, right?
Yep. It's got a Chuck Ford roots blower on it, and one of the few cars that advantage of the weight break they give for the roots. So I'm pumped up about it, man. I think we got something that can go down there and win.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, buy your t-shirts. I'll put up a post on Instagram and Facebook as well with all the links to everybody that tuned in. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Lyle, keep beadlocking the world. Lonnie Grimm, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. And I will see you boys later. Everybody at home, be safe. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. It's early. You can still go out with your significant other, your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Both. Hey, whatever. I'm not a judge. I don't judge. Whatever you need.
All right, boys.
See you guys later. We are out here.
Thank you.
See ya.